This conference will now be recorded.
Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as loud as we can. Hello! Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as soft as we can. Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as fast as we can. Hello! Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as slow as we can. Hello. Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as nice as we can. Hi, preschool friends. I'm so happy to be here with you today. We are going to start out by asking our question of the day. And our question is, what do you know about water? It sounds like you know some things about water. I asked that question because this week we are finished with learning about insects, and next week we are going to start learning all about water. So I wanted to find out what you already knew about water, and it sounds like you already know some great things. Next, we are going to talk about what we can do to be a good friend. What are some things that you think you could do to be a good friend? Those are great ideas. I was able to find a poster online that tells us all different ways that we can be a good friend. And some of the things it says is a good friend is someone who smiles. So we can smile at each other, maybe in the morning when we're coming into school. A good friend shows respect. That means we're kind to them, we're listening to them when they're talking, we're not interrupting them. A good friend supports you. So that means when you need help with something, they're there to help you or to cheer you on and tell you that you can do it. A good friend accepts everyone. So that's very important to accept everyone. That means we're not mean to somebody because of the color of their skin or the way that they talk or if they wear glasses or if they're even in a wheelchair. We accept them and we treat them kindly. A good friend is someone who listens. So that means you're listening to them and you're trying to understand what they're saying and you care about what they're saying. A good friend is someone who cares. That means you listen to their feelings. You're there to help them when they feel sad. You're there to even help them if they need help building a tower in the block area. You're just someone who is there for them. A good friend is someone who forgives. That means if one of your friends makes you mad because they knocked you down or they said something mean to you, if they say they're sorry, a good friend is someone who forgives them, and that means you accept their apology and you are friends with them again. And a good friend is someone who shares. That means we're sharing our toys, we're taking turns, we're making sure that everyone gets a chance to play. And finally, a good friend is someone who offers to help. So that means we're offering to help, like I said before, to help build that tower if they need help pushing their bike or reaching something off of a shelf or getting their coat on. A good friend is someone who can offer to help them. So a good friend is someone like you. So we can all be good friends by doing those very simple things. So for the last 6 weeks, that's a really long time, we have been talking about insects and we've learned all kinds of things about insects. We've learned where they live, how they help the planet, the characteristics of insects, how they communicate with each other, the kinds of homes that they build. We've learned all kinds of stuff. And today we are going to learn one more thing, and we are going to ask the question, how are spiders and insects different? Many people think that spiders are insects, but they're not. A spider is called an arachnid. They have some similarities to insects, but they also have many differences. So we are going to read a book today, and it's called Spiders. So I'm going to share my screen so you can see the book. And then we are going to learn about spiders and how they're different from insects. And we might even learn a little bit about how they're the same. So this story is written by Gail Gibbons. It's also illustrated by her, so that means she wrote the words and she drew the pictures. So in this book, we're going to learn about spiders and how they're the same and different than insects. Listen for what you can hear that's different. Spiders may look scary, but most of them don't hurt people. There are about 30,000 different kinds of spiders. 30,000 is a really big number. Now, I'm really scared of spiders. They are not my favorite, but it's important to learn information about things, even if you're scared of it, because sometimes learning information can help you to not be afraid. So that's why I thought I would learn more about spiders through this book. Spiders come in many shapes and sizes. Some are so tiny that they are no bigger than a speck of dust. That's really small. Others can be as big as a dinner plate. That's really big. Most spiders are brown, gray, or black, but some have bright colors. So this spider right here is a really big spider. It's called a tarantula. The first spiders lived about 300 million years ago, even before dinosaurs. So that was a really long time ago. Spiders belong to a group of animals called arachnids. So remember, we call insects insects, and a spider is called an arachnid. So that's one difference. These pages compare a spider's body and an insect's body. So it says a spider's body has two parts, the abdomen and the cephalothorax. Cephalothorax means head chest. So here it describes it a little bit more. This is their abdomen. This is their cephalothorax. So that's their head and their chest. Most spiders have 8 eyes. Did you know that spiders have 8 eyes? I didn't either. Could you imagine if we had 8 eyes instead of just 2? We could see so many things. I wonder if a spider is able to see in all directions. A spider has 8 legs, and some spiders spin silk with tiny organs called spinnerets. A spider has pedipalps to feel and to squeeze its prey. So those are some of the characteristics of a spider. They have 8 legs, they only have 2 body parts, and it sounds like they communicate and feel things by using their pedipalps. And right down here it says spiders are not insects. Their bodies are different from insects in many ways. So over here is an insect, and we've already learned a lot about insects. We know that insects have 3 body parts. They have a head, the thorax, and the abdomen. Many insects have wings, and insects have 6 legs. And lots of insects have antennas. So those are some of the biggest differences. A spider has 8 legs and insects have 6. Spiders have 2 body parts and insects have 3. So those are some of the biggest differences. Let's see what else we can find out about spiders. A male spider is smaller than a female spider. So that means boys are smaller than girls. That's kind of different. In most other insects and animals, it's the opposite. The female spider is, or the female animal is usually smaller. A mother spider lays her eggs and encloses them in a strong silk sac. So that means she wraps her eggs nice and safe with a silk sac. Spider babies are called spiderlings. Most spider mothers don't stay with their babies. Some spiderlings care for themselves as soon as they are born. They run up to the highest places they can find, and the spiderling spins out long streams of silk. A breeze lifts them and carries them to their new homes. This way of traveling is called ballooning. So it looks like they're flying through the sky, but they don't have wings. As a spiderling grows, its hard outer skin, called an exoskeleton, becomes tight. The skin cracks open and the spider sheds it by climbing out. This is called molting. Some spiders molt 5 to 10 times. So there is another similarity between spiders and insects. They have an exoskeleton and they molt. Do you remember when we talked about that a few weeks ago? The exoskeleton is the hard outer part of their body, and when the inside gets too big for it, they have to shed that and leave it behind, and then their body gets a new hard coating. Some spiders are web weavers. They spin webs to catch their food. Have you ever seen a spider web? Some of them are really beautiful, and I'll post some pictures of spider webs below this video. Other spiders weave sheet webs. The spider hangs upside down beneath the web, and when an insect hits the sheet web, the spider quickly pulls it through. So it sounds like spiders use the webs to hunt their food. Spiders create funnel webs too. The top is big and the bottom is small. So then the spider hides inside of here, and when the insect flies in, the spider is able to catch it. Some spiders spin triangle webs. A triangle web is fastened at 3 points. So this web looks just like a triangle. The orb weaving spider spins a pattern of many circles. So look, they go around and around and around and around and around until they finish it completely. The most beautiful spider web of all is the orb web. So these are the ones that get really, really fancy. So when the insect lands on the web shakes and the spider pounces. It gets its food. Not all spiders use webs for catching food. Some hide in burrows, that's like a hole, or beneath rocks and stones. When the spider sees its insect, it quickly runs out and grabs it. So that's something that a wolf spider does. One unusual kind of spider lives underwater. Did you know that spiders could live underwater? It builds its web and it uses the air bubbles to breathe and wait for water insects. Another type of spider digs a tunnel and it lines it with silk. So it protects itself by making a little door that closes. The crab spider lives inside flowers and waits for insects to land on the flower. Some spiders are dangerous. That means they're not safe, and we should be a little more cautious around these certain types of spiders. One of them is the black widow. The black widow spider bites only when its web is disturbed or if it's in danger. So if we leave them alone, they'll leave us alone. The biggest spider of all is the tarantula. When its legs are stretched out, it can measure about 10 inches wide. It is very hairy. Tarantulas that live in the United States are not poisonous, so that means it won't hurt us too badly. So 10 inches is like this big. That's a really big spider. Spiders have enemies. Some insects, like spider wasp, hunt and eat spiders. Toads, frogs, and some birds like to eat spiders too. Most spiders live for about 1 year. Some live much longer. Female tarantulas sometimes live to be 25 years old. Many people don't like spiders because they are afraid of them, but spiders help us. They play an important role by eating many insects that are harmful to crops and people. So they help us just like some insects help us. So they help eat some of those insects that can be pests and that can destroy flowers and plants. Spiders can be interesting to watch. Scientists are still discovering new kinds of spiders and learning more about them. So lots of people are scared of spiders, and when you're scared of spiders, you have something called arachnophobia, and that means you're scared of spiders. So, like I said at the beginning of this book, sometimes it's important to learn more about things that we're scared of so then we can understand them better and maybe not be so scared. So, I hope if you were scared of spiders, you learned a little bit more about them and you won't be so scared next time you see one. So, I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. So, that's all for circle time today. Like I said, this is our last time we're talking about insects. And next week, we're going to start talking about water. We're going to learn all kinds of different interesting facts about water. And we're even going to do some fun experiments. So thank you for joining me. And below in the comments, you can write and tell me if you've ever seen a spider web, or you can draw me a spider web and have someone post it. I'm going to post some pictures of spider webs in the comment section so you can see some different examples of real spider webs. So now it's time for our goodbye song. Goodbye, goodbye. It's time to go. Goodbye, goodbye. It's time to go. See you later, alligator. Bye, 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 butterfly. Bye, preschool friends.